Greetings. This is my first follow-up to my video, INTJ Grieving, the Loss of a Spouse, where I talked about losing my wonderful wife, Dottie. I read a book once that recommended interviewing one of your characters in order to fully understand him and what makes him tick. Well, I was lying in bed the other night, and it hit me that would not be the only use for such an interview. I know Staci Colt Curtson far better than I know most people in the real world. I don't need to get to know her better, but I do need to pick her brain. I think that she is my subconscious in some mysterious way, and at least in my stories, she has come up with some amazing fixes for problems her family members have faced. So, I decided to do it. I was going to pick Staci's brain. The date in my world was June 20th, 2021, Father's Day, the summer solstice, and it was 3 weeks and 1 day after my Dottie had died. I chose to visit the Staci who was living in the Addis year 23. Opening the discussion. Contacting Staci. Staci, I need your help. Staci was sitting in her hideaway on the top of the Colt Cave. Who are you? Staci demanded. My name is Al, I replied, but it might be difficult to explain who I am in relation to yourself. If possible, I would like to pose some questions to you and see how you might react. Your mind is sharp and well-disciplined. You might help me with a problem, and I really do need help with it. Would you at least explain how it is that I'm hearing you, but I can't see you? Staci was looking around in every direction, seeking a source for the voice. I have created a hyperdimensional portal for my voice, and for yours, of course, so we may converse. I pose no threat, and I have no nefarious aims regarding your family. I only want to tap into your wisdom if you will share it with me. What do you want to know? Staci asked skeptically. Okay, you have worked through nihilism and are no longer afraid of death. Is that correct? Yes, Staci said. I worked through that with my father when I was 11. And of course, I have made refinements over the years since then. You are married to Curtis now, I said. Has that been what you expected? It's wonderful, Staci said happily. That is good news, I said. That leads me to this question. If Curtis were to suddenly die, what do you think would be a workable solution to the emotional torture of that loss, and that would lead you to a state of peace with the universe? I swear, Staci said passionately, by everything that I value in this universe, that if you harm my husband, I will hunt you down no matter what I have to do and no matter how long it takes. Whoa, Staci, I said. I only wish all of you who live in the Colt Valley nothing but good things and joy. I would never harm any of you. I feel like Curtis is my own son. May you all live very long and very happy lives. I just wanted to frame my question in terms that would engage you personally. You see, I lost my wife a few weeks ago. It was sudden, and then she was gone. We were only days away from our 45th wedding anniversary, and she died. She was my best friend, my soulmate, and I have lost her. What can I do? That is dreadful, Staci said in dismay. What makes you think I can help? Don't ask me how I know, I said, but you have a gift, Staci, a wonderful gift for working things out and finding a solution. I admit, she replied, that I have had some success in helping others solve their problems. But Dad was the key to helping me work through and finding a meaning to life. He's the one you should talk to. No, Staci, I replied. There are 2 reasons that would be a bad idea. First off, there is a fundamental problem with talking to him. I think he would figure out who I am, and that could be very bad for him. Secondly, he won't have the answer that I seek. If I'm going to find that answer anywhere on planet Addis, it will be with you. Okay, Al, Staci said. You have indicated that your wife was very special to you, and you were married for a long time. Do you have other friends to help you? No, I replied. I have family who have reached out to me and been very kind. I have a longtime friend who is also supportive, but we don't see each other all that often. Almost all my human contact is done electronically by long distance. I need an internal answer if there is one. I understand, she said. I knew you would, I said. You're spooky. Do you realize that? Staci said. Staci, I said, I do not want to scare you or to make you uncomfortable at all. I am coming to you out of desperation. My life lies in ruins about me, and I don't know where else to turn. Okay, she said. Let's start at the beginning. We need to accept a few starting premises. First off, life is finite in its entirety. It is lived and it is over, and no matter how good or bad it was, once it is over, it is finished, forever finished. It is relegated to the past and therefore utterly and completely untouchable. Agreed? Absolutely, I said. You aren't so bad to work with, Staci said. Curtis would have probably stuck on that point. The next thing we must accept is that life is not fair. It is not fair now, nor will it ever be fair. It cannot be fair. Fairness is a delusion, and to expect it will only cause unhappiness and a feeling that you are being picked on. Are there any exceptions, I asked. Of course, Staci said, but only in controlled and limited environments, like a game with rules that are clear and followed rigidly. But if chance is involved, the outcome will be unfair, because one player will be the winner through no merit of his own, and other players will lose and feel worse for it for no good reason. Well, what about games of skill, I asked. Who wins, she asked. The better player. What is fair about one player being better? The best you can hope for is to have the rules being applied fairly. But unless you have an infallible judge to enforce the rules, even this part may fail. And who wrote the rules? Are they fair? Well, how about in a relationship, I asked. I remember when my sister Melanie was given a gift of time from another sister, Angela. And Mel said, I can't accept that. It isn't fair. And Angie replied, whoever said life is fair? I don't care when life's so wonderful. Angela shared the key to happiness in that statement. We must reject the idea that life is, or ever can be, fair. How could it be? Right from conception, we are different. Our sex, our intelligence, our tendency to be introverted or extroverted, and how our brains will work organically, make us all very different from one another. If you treat everyone exactly the same, is that fair? Some would assert that, I said. Unthinking people with no understanding might, Staci said in disgust. Put everyone into a group. There will be people who will love that. My sister Jennifer would laugh and have a wonderful time. But I am an introvert who also despises groups. I would be uncomfortable. And if it went on too long, I would be miserable. How can that be fair treatment? So I said, to be fair would require that each individual be treated differently? Not only differently, she said, but with such a wide variance between each application, it would take an amazing intellect with unrestrained power to do it. In other words, fairness is essentially impossible to administer. I see your point, I said, and for the sake of argument, I will accept it. So we have now accepted two axioms. Life is finite, and life is not fair. Now what? She said, we have to understand that whatever we have in life, and whatever we do in life, in the end, it will not be enough. There will always be more that you will never do or possess. I ask, if I am happy doing something, isn't that enough? Staci said, an example that comes to mind is Jennifer, my extroverted sister, who is also my best friend. When we were very young, Dad built a slide tube with its entire riding surface covered in ice all winter long. It is perfectly safe as long as only one person or one group is on the slide at once. Sometimes Dad or Mom would take one of the smaller children on their laps, or Dad would take Mom down the slide with her on his lap. If the slide was clear all the way down, there was no danger of getting hurt. The slide is long, it runs a complicated route, and it is incredibly fast. It has always scared me to death. I don't ride it. But Jenny simply loved that slide from the start. When she was small and got to the end, riding on Dad's lap, after screaming her lungs out in joy all the way down, and the slide had deposited them safely into the net, as she climbed out and onto the ground, she cried out, "Can we do it again?" So tell me, Al, do you see my point? Let me feed it back to you, Staci, I replied. Just tell me if I go astray. Happily, she said. Whatever I'm doing that brings me joy will end, I said. Once it is over, I will be left with only the memory of the thing and any emotions that I derive from that memory. And as I am involved with this activity, the intensity, the time consumed, and the level of joy or excitement I felt at the time will all have zero effect on this fact. All right, she said. Do you agree with that? Yes, I said, but I don't like it. Of course you don't like it, Staci said emphatically. Who would? But may I refer you to our earlier premise? Life is not fair. It only follows from this that at least part of your existence you will not like. True, I admitted. If you don't like gravity, Staci said, when you fall off a cliff, does that force cease to operate? Does your dislike of it diminish its effect one little bit? We have to accept the fact that the laws of physics are in force, and they will act independently of our wishes, likes, and dislikes. Staci, I said, I didn't come to you seeking soft words to ease my pain. I'm looking for answers. So, please continue. Now, Staci said, how can a finite, unfair, uncaring, absolutely heartless universe yield to you only things that you desire, such as purpose or joy? Whatever you do will end. Whatever you possess will ultimately age and will eventually fall into ruin. Whomever you know, hold, and love will die, either before or after you, or in the rarest of circumstances at the same time. And while you find all of the things that bring you joy come to an end every time, you also are handed out horrible things, things that bring you pain and misery, and in the end will even kill you and those you love. Staci, I said in exasperation, don't sugarcoat it up that way. Just tell it to me straight. The truth is painful, isn't it? Staci said. But if you are going to succeed in your quest, you must begin with an understanding of your existence in this world. Well, that makes sense, I replied. If you want to build something, say a bridge, you have to know the land conditions and the forces involved, even if the building costs go up drastically as you learn more and more. So it is with love, Al, Staci said. You find someone you adore. She is perfect, matching your every desire. You fall madly in love and you marry. You have children and they grow up, but you then find that something is tapping on your shoulder. Time has worked on both you and your beloved. You begin to feel pain and you slow down. Things begin to break and have to be treated. But you turn away from that thing tapping on your shoulder, and you pretend that he made a mistake. He was not actually after you. You are still fine. Life is fantastic. Even now, your love is strong, and you find new things to do. But time continues to slow you down. It introduces more and more medical problems to face. Part of your mind can see it. Death is moving towards you both. But the rest of your mind refuses to accept it. It will still be years and years before either one of you dies. Al, isn't all of this true? Isn't this the path that you and your wife walked? Yes, I said in despair. It's all true. I was still looking a decade ahead and wondering if I would make it. But Dottie, my dear sweet Dottie, she was 5 years younger than I was. We had medical issues, but I thought we were still okay, and would be so for many years yet. But I was wrong. Now you have a new situation, Staci said. Once again, the facts are there to see. Your Dottie reached her end. Her finite life is now over. She is entirely in the past, and you can no longer touch her. She is forever gone. Just like gravity, when you fell off a cliff, your desires in this don't matter at all. Your pain, your fear, and your misery are all meaningless to the universe. You can do nothing to change this one thing that you most desperately want to change. But Staci, I said in horror, what do I do? What can I do? When your ship is going down, Staci said, even if that ship represents the investment of all your life's work, the entirety of your wealth, and you know without any doubt whatsoever that you will be left with nothing and will have to start over with completely empty pockets, you still will accept the inevitable. You will climb into a lifeboat, and from within it, you will watch your ship go down. Oh, I said, that is dreadful. That isn't an answer. Sadly, Staci said, it's the only answer. Dottie was your ship, and no matter what she meant to you, and how much you invested in her, emotionally, chronologically, and financially, she has gone to the bottom of the sea, forever. You are in your lifeboat now. You didn't go down with the ship. You didn't kill yourself. I was sitting there, all alone, beside my dead wife's body, in the intensive care unit, weeping and dying inside. And you know what stopped me from shooting myself? Your family, Staci said. You, in your incredible moment of maximum sorrow, when you wanted nothing better than to die right beside the love of your life, held your desperate, urgent, and almost irresistible desire in check, for the sake of others. It's true, I said. I knew right then that my life would be as it has been, painful and miserable, and yet I thought of my sons and my grandchildren. I chose the lifeboat, knowing full well that I would hate it. From the moment I stepped into it, I wished the stupid thing would capsize and drown me. My dear sweet Dottie was gone. I wanted to be gone too. But it didn't capsize, Staci said. And so, now you are searching for something more than just existence, based upon making others feel better. You want something for yourself, to sink your teeth into, something to satisfy that human drive to enjoy life. You seek a purpose to strive for, to make you want to get up in the morning and to face the day eagerly. Yeah, I said, I would love that. Well, Al, Staci said, you won't find it on that ship. I know this sounds heartless, but it isn't. If your Dottie loved you, and I'd bet a large sum of money that she did, she would want you to cut it. Cut what? I asked in surprise. You, my mysterious friend, Staci said, are still tied to the ship. There is a stout line made fast around your heart that runs down to the ship, and the other end is secured there. If you do not cut it, it will pull you under, lifeboat and all. I am utterly doomed then, I said sorrowfully. I will never ever stop loving Dottie. I could never do that. I didn't say you need to stop loving Dottie, Staci said. What I said is that you can't tie your future to your wife because she no longer has a future. Her existence is over. If you continue to follow her, your existence will be over too. I don't understand, I said. Let me explain, Staci said. I'm sure at your age you have seen death before, correct? Yes, I replied. I held my mother's hand as she died, just like I held my Dottie's hand. My father died 48 years ago. I have lost all my grandparents, and only one of my aunts remains from all my aunts and uncles. I've lost several cousins, too. When these relatives died, Staci said, they left a hole in your life. You thought of them often at first, several times a day, no doubt. Yes, I said. You might have had things that reminded you of the loved one who is no longer with you. Seeing it brought you new temporary pain. In time, those reminders grew less powerful over your emotions. You grew to view the passing as a very sad thing, but the periods of time you went without thinking about that time grew longer. To this day, you still can feel intense pain at the loss of your mother, but it doesn't happen often. You are not bound by pain so severely that you can't function. Is this true? Sure, I said, but Mom had become a much smaller part of my life decades before she died. When she died, it was painful, but she hadn't been a daily part of my life for a long time. So there wasn't a continuous stream of reminders that she was gone. This is different. Way different. Granted, Staci said. However, it is also the same. What is happening now is that you are living life completely surrounded by physical tokens of Dottie. It is as if each one of them has a little sign on it, screaming out that Dottie is dead. No matter where you look, there is another one. It's a continuous stream of reminders that your Dottie was here, but she is not here any longer. Unlike with your mother, the time between these events is very short. You are hit over and over again with various things screaming out that Dottie is gone. You sure nailed that right, I said. Everywhere I turn, everything is something that Dottie placed with her own hands. She was a wonderful homemaker with an amazing gift of organizational skills. The entire house was her masterpiece. Now think back, Staci said. That first day after you came home from the hospital, how did you react to seeing things connected with Dottie, especially things that only Dottie ever used? It was horrible, I said. I felt excruciating pain. I was in a constant state of tears. I was repeatedly overcome by racking sobs with no chance to control them. Control is important to you, isn't it? She asked. Absolutely, I said. I hate feeling out of control. I hate surprises. How's your control today? She asked. Is it different from how it was the first day or two? Yes and no, I said. The out-of-control crying has become far less common. However, I can still get a stomach flop when I see something that was Dottie's. So you can see a clear, observable change in your behavior and your emotional response to the things that remind you of Dottie? Now you mention it, yes I can. My mind stepped back from this conversation for a moment, and I realized that I felt surprised at this fact. 3 weeks have gone by, and I can actually see change. I am still miserable, and I have very little control over my motivation to do things. I am depressed, and that saps my energy. But I am changing. I am still hurting very much, but slightly less than I was 3 weeks ago. Staci, I said, would you mind if I dropped in to see you again? I think that I've taken in about all I can digest for one visit. That would be fine, Staci said. That will give me some time to think through a few ideas I have that might help. Thank you, Staci, I said. You've already helped me today. You're welcome, Staci said. I cut the communication. This is the first part of a series of internal discussions with Staci Colt Curtson on the planet of Addis. I am working through my grieving process to try and reach a state of peace with a purpose to living in life. I have chosen this method because it feels right to me. If you wish, you are welcome to join me in this journey to peace.